Hi everyone, it's Andrea over at Sewspire.com. I hope you're doing well today. I am here with the last project in our August wallet tutorial. We have made 3 wallets to date. They're all different. I have created a playlist for you, which I will link down in the notes. If you are just joining us and you would like to check out those other wallet tutorials, today we are making a darling wallet, which I am calling a puff wallet. And it is so sweet. It's quilted on the exterior and it actually is puffy. This wallet is empty right now. It has a cute little flap snap closure and then a single pocket under that flap, which will hold with ease 11 credit/debit shoppers cards. It would probably hold easily 20 to 30 business cards. And it closes with that little snap there. You have some options on what type of snap you use. And it just always has that little squishiness to it and that depth. I've never done anything like this before, but I really think it turned out darling. So I hope that you like it too, and you will make a Sewspire puff wallet with me today. So I'm going to give you all of the pattern measurements as we sew together. But if you would like, I offer a 1-page PDF document, which I call a design board, that includes all of the pattern measurements, the supply list, photos of the project, and then a link to this very tutorial. These design boards are collectibles, which you can download and save on your computer for future inspiration so that you have everything all in one spot. I think that they will be very handy for you come holiday time when you're looking for gifts to make for friends and family. So if you are interested in supporting the channel and purchasing a Sewspire design board for this sweet little puffy wallet, I will link to my Etsy pattern shop down in the notes for you as well. So shall we get started? Okay, so to craft this sweet little puff wallet, you are going to need 3 rectangles which measure 5 inches wide by 7 inches tall. 2 of those are going to become the body panels. For the exterior panel, you are going to want to back that with some Pellon 70 or another heavyweight interfacing. And then for added detail, you can quilt that. I just freehand quilted this. Nothing's measured, nor is it even. And you're welcome to do whatever you like with that. You don't necessarily have to quilt it, but I think it does add a nice touch to this. For the interior panel, you're going to back that with a lightweight fusible. Pellon 808 or 809 is great for that. For this, I selected the Decoville Light, just a little scrap piece. This is where the snap is going to end up on this. This is actually going to be the top of that panel, and the snap is going to be installed so that when it folds down, that's how it will close. So towards the top of your interior panel, reinforce with something like Decoville Light if you're going to be using the snaps with the prongs, and that will just help that hold up a little nicer for you. And then for your pocket panel, you are going to press the top and the bottom short edges over 1 inch, and you will reinforce the center front of that pocket with something like Decoville Light, and then you can install your snap right at center on that pocket. So come up at center and over at center, and go ahead and put all 3 parts of the snap on the pocket, and then leave your remaining set of prongs for that top flap. So your pocket, as you can see, gets folded in half to roughly form a pocket which is 2.5 inches tall by 5 inches across, and we're just going to stitch right across the top of that pocket to finish that. And then again, noting that the top of your interior panel has that additional interfacing for the snap. So the pocket is going to get positioned on the interior panel 1 inch up from the base. You will already have your snap installed on the pocket. Then you'll just stitch right across the base of that pocket. And so we have the pocket installed on the interior panel. Now we want to take the quilted exterior panel and position that right sides facing on top of that pocket panel, and we're going to stitch down the right hand side across the base and up that left hand side using 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. Then once you've made it around 3 sides of that, you can go ahead and trim that up to 1/4 inch. And then you will reach inside and you're going to fashion a flat corner at each side of the base. So you are aligning the side seam with the base seam, and you're going to stitch across there to create a 1 inch depth. And you repeat that for the opposite corner, aligning the side seam and the base seam and stitching right across there 1 inch. And then before you trim up those corners, I like to align mine and make sure they are even. You could also use a marking pin and draw in the stitch line before you stitch. So you are trimming to the right of the stitch line, just getting rid of those itty bitty corners. After you have trimmed up the corners there and given the project its depth, then you are going to carefully angle this top edge here that is open. And so what I like to do is just fold that in half, align the sides and the top, and then with my scissors just trim off a little bit there at that corner. And this is going to give our flap a little bit of an angle. So now I'm going to come back in with a 1/4 inch seam allowance and stitch along that angle. I'm going to back stitch at the top there, and I'm going to leave the top open to turn. Okay, so using a 1/4 inch seam allowance there, I have stitched right along that corner. I still have approximately 2.5 inch spans here at the top to carefully turn my project right side out. Once you get that turned right side out, go ahead and give that a good press. The pocket should be on the interior here, the unquilted side, and then the exterior should look like this. And so when you're pressing, go ahead and turn those raw edges inward 1/4 inch and press those nice and flat as well. And to make it easy for you, you can just invert this base here and press on the front and the back. Okay, after you press, your project should look like this, and you can see I was able to turn that open edge inward and get that nice and even at the top there. Now, to give this project its puffiness, what we're going to do is stuff this with a little bit of polyfill. So take a little wad of polyfill and you're going to push that down into the pocket region there. We don't want any polyfill up here in the flat portion, so get it all below the pocket, and 2 little wads should be plenty for that. You just want to give it that nice squishy feel, and then have the wallet fill in a little bit here so it always has some depth to it. And then once you're satisfied with the level of squishiness there, go ahead and stitch 1/4 inch up from that pocket lip. And then that will encase your little puff there down in the pocket region, and it gives this project some natural dimension there, which I love, and it just really is a nice feel to that. So now what we want to do is top stitch all the way around the flap, beginning at that stitch line that we just made here horizontally across the project, and that's going to close up the opening in the top and then add some more detail to the flap. Now before we do that, if you are working with a decorative snap, you're going to install that after you top stitch. If you just have an ordinary snap here with no special features, you're going to want to install that before you top stitch. So you're going to have to test fit here and see approximately where you should install those prongs. And so this looks good to me, so I like to poke a little hole in the material from the front side, and then I'm just going to fit those prongs in there and poke those up through the material. And so this is why I reinforced that inner panel, so that this snap does not separate or tear my fabric. So I'm just going to test fit that one more time, and that looks really good. Now holding those prongs in that channel, I'm going to give this a few good whacks with my hammer and install that snap. Okay, so now I have the snap installed, and now I'm going to go ahead and top stitch from that horizontal stitch line all the way around back down to the horizontal stitch line, and that will seal up that opening in the top of the wallet. And I'm just using a 1/4 inch seam allowance. And voila, I have the sweetest multi-dimensional quilted little puff wallet ever. I am so tickled with this design. It's just precious. I think people of all ages would love to have one of these. This may make it into my last minute Christmas collection that we're going to have at the end of the year. You of course have additional options when it comes to the snap closure there, but really very precious. And you can fit multiple cards into this pocket. With ease, I could fit 11 credit/debit cards. You could probably put 25-30 business cards in there. It's a fabulous design. Before we say goodbye, let me give you some measurements on this. So height-wise, I'm coming in at 2 3/4 inches. Then width, we are right at 4 inches, and depth on this is 1 inch. It's just absolutely precious. I love it. Ta-da! It's so cute. I absolutely love how this little guy turned out, or little girl turned out. And actually, speaking of that, I think this could totally be a unisex design. It could be wonderful for guys and girls of all ages, and it certainly is a lot of fun to make and to hold, so bonus there. If you will be making a Sewspire Puffy wallet, please join the Sewspire community group on Facebook. I'll link to that down in the notes, and post photos of your Puffy wallets for everybody to see. I will be back next Friday with a new series for you. We are going to be focused on my commuter tote. This is a bag which I have made a couple of variations on, and I think for the month of September we're going to make a smaller version of the commuter tote. I will link to the original project if you are interested in checking that out between now and next Friday. It really is a Sewspire favorite design. I know many of you have made multiples of the commuter tote and enjoyed a lot of success making it and selling it in your shops and taking custom orders for that. That really makes me happy. I love to know how you are using the content I create. So again, please don't be shy. Join that Facebook group page and post photos of your Sewspire projects there so that we can all see what you're up to, okay? So if you want the design board for the Puffy wallet, you can find that in my Etsy pattern shop. Please do join me next Friday, 12 noon, and we will kick off our commuter tote series here at Sewspire. Until then, as always, please know the creative genius in me will be celebrating the creative genius in you. I hope you all have a beautiful week. Thank you so much for sewing with me.